Hello, my friends. Good to see you. I'm Rachel Archelaus and Intimate Alien today. And we have our BFF Carrie Roldan here. Together, we help you through our Intuitive Art Academy and our Aligned Income and Aligned Up Level program. So if you want to learn more about that, go to intuitiveart.com or archelaus.com. All right. We are in for a treat today. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Carrie.
I was just going to say, before we went live, I was saying, oh, you look very intimate alien-y, but also your eyes are so green today.
I know. Oh my gosh. So I just filmed for all of you. I filmed a get ready with us. So you'll see how this look comes together. And there was a point when I put on this one color where I was like, oh my God, my eyes, like they just kind of popped in that moment. So I also love this sweater because they kind of do the same thing. So we're all green eyes today.
And green hair. Green and purple seems to be the theme.
It is, I know, and I love your shirt too.
Well, this one came from our friend Jana, so believe in yourself.
Excellent. So today we're talking about channeling and how it is extremely natural. We do it every day. And how I know a lot of you are wanting to do it more intentionally and are afraid. So I think Carrie is going to have a lot to say about that because I know she was hesitant when I first met her to call herself psychic, even though now she embraces it. And I know Intimate Alien kind of freaked her out a bit when I first started channeling her. And so, Carrie, what is your experience with channeling? How do you feel about it?
Well, I have experience, like knowing that I was channeling, and yet I would still be very hesitant to claim like that I am a medium or that I can channel. I'm sorry, I'm so distracted by my own hair right now. There. And I also, I know that when I am in the zone, when I'm relaxed and in my element and in my strengths and like doing what I do, that I am channeling. So like lots of times it's super important for me actually when I work with clients one-on-one that there's a recording, because I will like just get going and they will say, wait, can you say that again? And I'm like, say what? Like what? I don't know what. I'm sure it was brilliant. It felt amazing coming through me, but when you ask my brain to remember what just came out of me, I can't, right? So I recognize like I'm channeling in that capacity, whether it's channeling my higher self, channeling more of the fullness of me. I do. So I'm super comfortable knowing that. When it comes to like letting dead people talk through me, or I know that I have done that and that I have the capacity to do that. And I'm much more comfortable letting you do that, which is, I think, where a lot of people are. And what I would say about this whole topic is I always wanted to be psychic. I would listen to Abraham and I would want to be able to like channel, universal knowledge. And I now realize like that when I'm relaxed and connected, like I am doing that. But I'm definitely not in a place where I would stand on the stage and say, okay, I'm going to channel universal knowledge. Everyone pay me to hear it. Right. So I'm probably in the same place as a lot of our people.
Except you do. You just don't say it, right? When you're at Carla's event, that is exactly what you do.
Yeah. I mean, okay, fair. So that is when people choose to work with me, they know that they're working with, the reason they're choosing to work with me is because of that. I may not say I'm channeling or I'm having a conversation with your higher self, but they definitely know, oh, wow, this girl gets me, or, oh, I want some of that. Like, so yes, that is happening.
And I love that. So you brought up Abraham, which I'm sure we're all familiar with here. And Esther doesn't even call what she does channeling, because I think, you don't need to label anything you don't want to label. And I don't think she wanted to place that word on it, because from her generation, it was a very weird thing to do. And I know if you've like listened to her backstory, she was not into weird, right? So I love that we can all use our own terminology. We don't have to talk about it like it's channeling. But it is. And I want to normalize that, because for a long time we weren't using the word intuitive in our mainstream language, and now we are, and we're fine with it. And I think channeling is the same thing. We're all channeling all the time. And mostly we're channeling ourself, right? Our source wisdom, all that is. But we do channel our friends, we channel our loved ones, we channel people who've passed on, we channel ideas, we channel energies when we're dancing, when we're moving, when we're exercising, running. We are just channeling machines. And I think it is also super fun when you say, "Oh, you know what? Maybe I want to try channeling my star family. Maybe I want to try channeling my angels," right? And there are also words for that. We can do automatic writing. We can do intuitive art is a form of channeling. We can do, whatever. You can get in your car and say, "Okay, spirit, like, where do I go now?" Right? That's channeling. So, hmm.
It's just reminding me of that TikTok. Holy Spirit, activate.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so I know taking that next step, it can be frightening for people. I've heard some things even in the last week of like, I'm afraid to channel because I'm afraid I will get taken over. I'm afraid I'll lose myself. I'm afraid some nefarious being will come in. Right. But if you think about it, the last time you went to the grocery store, were you afraid someone was going to run up to you, pick you up, and run away with you? Right? Probably didn't cross your mind. And that's really the same thing with channeling. You've maybe heard of things in the past happening, but were they really people you knew? Was it just here? Was it just someone trying to frighten you? Was it, some kind of religious organization cautioning you? I have never personally known anyone who's had anything go wrong while they're channeling, and I've been aware of all of this stuff my entire life. So, of course, there are some things you want to do to make sure that you feel safe and grounded and secure beforehand. Um, but we're just going to get into a little bit of myth busting today. And I have Intimate Alien here for anyone if you have questions. So, I would love to open this up to all of you. Carrie and I will have a chat and talk about this. But if you have any questions, or if you have any interest in taking your channeling to the next level, let us know. We would love to know.
Well, while questions might be coming in, or like curiosities, I will talk about Intimate Alien and why she freaked me out. Intimate Alien freaked me out because, and Rachel, you freaked me out initially. And there's been a few people in my life who have freaked me out. And I think it was partly because I was insecure. I was scared. I was afraid. I felt like an imposter, just in general. And I felt like Intimate Alien could see past that. I felt like anybody who was psychic, I didn't really want to talk to, because I felt like they could see that I was an imposter. They could see that I was like faking it. They could see all of that. And so Intimate Alien freaked me out for that reason. Like I didn't want to have questions for her because I didn't want to hear the answers. I didn't want her to see the truth of me. Just kind of an interesting thing, especially because I am that, right? Like I see into people, I know. And of course, there's no judgment. But I was fearing judgment, right? I was judging myself. And so that's why intimate alien freaked me out, is even though everything that she said was loving, I was afraid that she would see who I really was. I was also afraid that she was going to tell me something that I didn't want to hear. Like, I so desperately wanted to hear, Carrie, you're awesome. All your dreams are going to come true. And I didn't want to hear, yeah, sorry, lady, like, but I was afraid that I was going to hear that. These dreams are not meant for you. Don't, right? Like, and so that's why she freaked me out.
Yeah, I really appreciate that because I think that's a really common thing. And what you found though is that intimate alien does see you and she sees your whole self and that all of your dreams have already come true. So, and that you're more than worthy enough, right? You are the only one with that insecurity and it's not present to any higher dimensional being because it's so insignificant. And I just want to say hello, Gina Maria. Hello, Guillaume. Thank you for coming. And Gina Maria was saying too that like Carolyn Miss doesn't use the word channeling, but of course she does. And she's a Christian. I think there's a little bit of that with it. She's also kind of old school, but great lady. And yes, of course, Carrie, you're awesome. All your dreams are going to come true. Absolutely.
And listen, now, of course, I know that, but I think that this is also a reason why there's this, I think last week we were talking about the paradox, right? There's a reason why I so desperately wanted to channel. And I wanted to like go to psychics and meet, like I desperately wanted the validation of like, hey, this seed of a dream, this spark of desire that you have in you, this feeling inside of you, this feeling of greatness that you have inside of you, this feeling of connectedness that you have to all that is. And like, I desperately wanted validation, right? Which is why I wanted to like talk to channeling beings. And there was an equal measure, the fear of rejection, the fear, and so I don't know. That's all I have to say about that is like, yes, I now know all my dreams are coming true, but it like many of us, I started there just wanting someone else to tell me that.
Yeah, because it feels nice. I like it too. Yeah, it feels really good. So I want to tell a little story about, so obviously you all know, I grew up being able to talk to beings that weren't physical, whether they were aliens or my loved ones or my friends. And for the most part, I just had a conversation with them. So they would give me energy that I would interpret into words, or they would give me pictures, that I would interpret into words. And I did that a lot, And I remember the first time that, and now that's not considered channeling, by most people, which I think it is because it's maybe telepathy. I don't know what you'd call it, but that's mainly what I did. And then I remember having, it was kind of like, it was like a little party or something at my uncle's house. And I was talking to everyone's higher selves and spirit guides. And I was in a conversation with this one spirit guide, and he just was giving me so much energy that I thought, it would be so much easier for me to just let him talk through me. I don't think I had ever done that before, especially I've done it with my higher self, obviously, but not with another being, and one that I was so unfamiliar with, right? But I felt safe enough and it felt fine. And so I just let him start talking. And it was just so much easier because wasn't like, oh, he's saying this and he's saying that, and I think he means this. It was just like letting that being talk. And that's really when I started doing that. And it felt so seamless to me that I was kind of shocked when other people made such a big deal about it. Like, oh, now I'm channeling, right? But really, I'm just taking one element out of the picture and making it a more seamless experience. And Yeah, I didn't do it all the time after that, but then, well, you know what, if I'd be teaching a class and my angels would come and I would just let them talk. And it's interesting, I guess the experience of other people that was so much different than when I would just tell people what other beings were saying rather than letting them speak. And I think I got at that point why people were so afraid of it doing it themselves, because they saw such a difference in me, right? A difference between my voice changes, my energy changes when I'm channeling another being. But that doesn't mean that I'm not there, right? In my experience channeling, I'm always very, very, very present. I can hear everything, I'm aware of everything. Doesn't mean I'm going to remember it all. Like Carrie is saying, even when you're channeling yourself, it's not like you're going to remember everything. But I've always felt very upfront with that being, even though I'm letting them talk. It's not like trance channeling where I'm totally nowhere to be found and I don't know what's going on. I could see how that could feel a little bit scary, but that's not the only option, just so you know. So if you want to start channeling more intentionally, like letting somebody talk through you, you can still be present in your body and have complete control while also letting someone else talk.
Okay, so you just put out a video where
Mhm.
we got to watch you do this with
Yeah.
3 different people, and my feedback on that video was, like, super interesting because I definitely saw, like, I didn't know the first person that you channeled, but my experience of you channeling her was that I could see that there was a familiarity with you and her, and part of your demeanor, there was a tiniest, like, twinge of intimate alien in the way that she came through. And then you channeled Dina, who is a friend of both of ours, who I could see and hear and feel Dina in the way that you showed up as you were channeling Dina, in the phrases that you used, even in the way that you moved your body. Like I could feel Dina. And then you channeled someone, um, a cousin of yours, I think. And I could definitely feel like the masculine energy and the kind of like I got a sense of the kind of person he was and the kind of relationship that you guys had and the words that he used was really different. And so that was cool for me to see because I have seen you channel Intimate Alien and I've seen Esther channel, and I've seen you channel other beings as well. But it was just cool for me to see that, to see, okay, this is Rachel just within a few minutes channeling all these different things. And yet it did seem to me that Rachel was more or less interpreting a conversation. And I definitely saw you being very present, even where you said, Rachel's searching for the word, let me pick something else, or like, um, yeah, so I don't know what I wanted to comment on that, except that I could see that you were present there as much as the other person. And it was cool to watch the transformation. At least for me, it wasn't scary, but it still feels to me. So I'm thinking about when have I done that? So I have done it more in writing. I remember of several years ago, a friend's son died. And I felt this weird compulsion to like write her. Um, and it was like so awkward for human me to like feel like I had could say anything. Like, and yet I felt, and why is he picking me? Right? It was sort of like, I don't know, but I did feel like a deep connection. And I thought, okay, well, here goes. I'm just gonna write down like what I think this person is saying. And it that's what it felt like. It felt like I think this person wants me to say this and I don't really know why, but I'm gonna go ahead. And so I did, I wrote it all down and I sent it off to her. And her response was like, wow, those were his words. That's how he sounds. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, to me, it felt a little bit like, am I making this up? Is this like, but I just relaxed and trusted myself. And once or twice that has happened with other people in conversation where I will get a phrase like, it's like a use this phrase, tell them this. And it's not something, and not even when I think that I'm channeling, right? Just like, I'm not aware of where the messaging is coming from, but like use this phrase. And it sometimes feels like that is not a phrase that I use. And I'll get like a shove, like use this phrase. And then it will become apparent why, right? Like I'll tell them whatever, I'll call them sweetheart, and they'll be like, I mean, actually that's never happened, but we'll use it as an example. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, I get it. My grandma always said that to me, or right? Like there's like a reason why they needed to hear that at that time. That is about the extent of my own channeling. I think I'm a little bit afraid to look stupid. I'm afraid to let someone talk through me because I'm afraid I'll be making it up. There's a little bit of that going on. So I am like, I've leaned into it, but I haven't gone full green wig.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Jane is saying, oh, wow, I recognize that. Yeah, that feeling, I call it that feeling of co-creation, the feeling of they're pulling something out of me and it's being delivered, right? It's like, here's a silver platter with words that you can use. Here you go. That's relevant right in this conversation, only with this person. This is a one-time deal, you know? Yeah, it's really powerful when you can feel the co-creation happening, and you can choose not to go with it, but boy, is it going to be uncomfortable if you choose not to, right? You're going to second guess yourself later on in the afternoon. It's just better to kind of like get it over with, right? Like it's a little bit scary to say, but it usually lands really well, right? The worst thing that can happen is nothing, you know. I know I used to teach mediumship, and once you start opening that up, you are more sensitive to receiving things in the moment. And so I know like some people would receive random messages at spin class or whatever, and like, you know, deliver it really like hesitantly, and then having the person be like, oh my God, that's so amazing, you know? So if that is something that you're worried about, you know, just like opening yourself up and then being like deluged with things that you are downloading, don't worry about that either. It's like a little trickle in a faucet. It should not be an overwhelming thing. And once in a while, you're going to receive some information because that's what we do. We are receivers. But again, if you want to maintain your own self, right? Meditate, get in the center of your head, maintain your space, be grounded, and you will not be ever feeling out of control. And so Jane, that goes for you. Yes, if you want to do this more intentionally, then become more sensitive to yourself, and then you'll become more sensitive to that co-creative feeling. Okay.
I wanted to ask you about this because it reminded me of Minority Report. Have you seen that movie?
I don't know.
So it's a Tom Cruise movie with these beings called precogs, and it's basically like there's pre-crime. And so it like probably happens in 2022. I don't know, but like at the time it came out, it was like a futuristic movie. And it was this idea that there's no crime anymore because these psychic people predict crimes. They see them before they happen. And then and so people are arrested before they commit their crimes. Like they're arrested on their way to commit the crime. And then there becomes like questions about the morality of it. But the point is these precogs, they're human beings. They're super sensitive, psychic human beings. They spend their life like in this like meditative state. And when they are freed from that and go into the world, they're like so sensitive and they're receiving so much information, and they like go into the world, and they're like walking through a mall, and they say like someone walks by and they're like, he doesn't love you, leave now, or like, you know what I mean? Like, and so I kind of think that's what you're talking about, like this fear of like being so sensitive that you can't go anywhere without getting messages for everyone, and not wanting that. And so I will say I have felt that spin class feeling or that whatever, where like I get a compulsion to like like say something to a stranger. Usually though, I've never had a compulsion to be like leave him, or like, usually it's like loving messages that I feel like it doesn't hurt to tell someone. Um, but I don't know, can you speak to that? Like, you say like, take care of yourself, but what are we talking about here?
Okay. So I have to be honest with you in that I've been in that position before. If you know my story any, I had a very good grasp on my psychic gifts until I moved into like a very haunted house as a teenager. And then it's like everything exploded and I couldn't really leave my house without feeling not like I had messages for everyone, but just in this energy and too much energy. I was like turned up so high in my sensitivity that I couldn't deal with the amount of energy in the world. And if you are consider yourself empathic, you've probably felt that at times, right? Especially I couldn't go to restaurants. I couldn't go to the mall, especially in the holiday time. Couldn't go to school anymore. Um, and it was just like way too much. But how I got, first of all, I was 14. So there's a big difference between all of us who are here and have more of a grasp of our own self than a 14-year-old who's going through a lot of other things at the same time. But the way that I got a hold of that was through knowing myself, finding the light, as they called it back then. Now we would call it, meditating, being in concert with your higher self, doing intuitive art, spending time in your own energy, right? I was so out of my body, so not grounded, so all over the place that, of course, I was having a sensitivity problem. But when you're seated in yourself, when you're doing what you love, when you are making your own decisions, when you're taking care of your preferences, Brian, you're, focusing on vibrational health and physical health and mental health, that is not a problem. It is not an issue. And, I've back in the day, I saw maybe an episode or two of that Long Island medium show where she'd walk down the street and give people medium readings. Like, no, you don't want to be doing that. I don't think that's healthy. It's fine. She could do whatever she wants. She had a TV show, but like, that is not a level of sensitivity that I carry on a daily basis. I can choose to be psychic when I want to be psychic and to be a totally normal person focused on me for the rest of the time. And once in a while, I'll see a really cool aura, but like for the most part, my energy, wherever it stops, is where I'm focused, and I'm not activating my psychic senses out in the world. It would be very, very distracting. Now at concerts, yes, for fun, like if I can turn it on when I want, and you can too. You don't walk around at this moment totally opened up and like not able to function because you're just seeing all these beings and energies all over the place, right? It doesn't happen like that. Or it shouldn't anyway to you. If you're here, you're present and evolved enough so that that's not going to happen to you. I've got a yawn. Yay. And Gina Maria had a question too, is do you tell people X is coming through? When I'm aware of it, I mean, if I'm intentionally channeling, like in that video, of course, or if I'm being intimate alien, of course. But I myself am a group being. I am angelic and Zeta and Pleiadian and all kinds of other things. I don't even have names for. I could just see them. And I don't always like. I'm a varied mix of those at times. At times, Carrie will be like, "Oh, I hear intimate alien in you," and but I don't typically express that one part coming through unless I'm wholly them, pretty much.
So I would love for you, I don't know if this is, yeah, it is. So speaking of channeling, right? Like I understand the feeling of channeling more of myself. I understand the feeling of channeling source energy. But you as a group being, I can see, I think when your Zeta energy is more forward. I think that's most of the time, Rachel. I can see when intimate alien is like in the driver's seat. For me, it reminds me of the movie Inside Out, the Disney movie, where like the different characters like take the steering wheel of the person. Like I can kind of see that happening in you. But do you experience, I'm just curious, do you experience that like when you can tell who's at the forefront, or can you tell who's at the forefront, or do you just experience that as you? Or do you know, like, oh, right now, intimate alien is taking the driver's seat. I feel like I'm channeling her. How's that?
I would say that I feel more integrated than that. I maybe when I first started becoming aware of being a grouping, I was a little bit more like, oh, here's my Zeta side, here's my angelic side, here's my, and they do come out at different times. Like as me, as a normal, like regular person, I'm much more Zeta neutral. When I'm teaching, I'm often very angelic and like that forceful, loving presence. Like if you've been in my certified intuitive artist program, it's very angelic. Um, Intimate alien, obviously, you can tell when I'm intimate alien because I have a lot more energy and I smile a lot more. And so it's pretty obvious in that sense if you know me and you know that. And I mean, I can tell, but it's not really a thought that goes through my head very often just because it's like every day, you know. But yeah, I am aware sometimes have that thought when I'm teaching, usually like, oh, this is my teaching thing. Like, and you know, it makes it really normal because a lot of people have different personas in different situations, you know, so it's really not that different. Well, we got some great questions here.
I was seeing those too. And Gina Maria is even answering our questions. So
Oh, excellent. Okay. So, Claudia, thanks for your questions. Her first one is I am more and more open and I like it, but there is a fear that something bad could also come in. I think I'm being told the bad energy cannot stick to the light inside, but still not fear free. And then, can you share advice on how to build the trust and release the fear? Yeah. So, you're right in the fact that your vibration determines who you are connecting with. And not only that, what you think you're getting. You've probably, I mean, I don't know. I've been to different kinds of psychics over my lifetime, and some of them are great and clear, and some of them you can definitely feel their own belief systems coming through, right? Because the the clarity is only as clear as the channel. And that's the same with when you're intentionally connecting with beings. So you can have like a pre-channeling ritual that can help you feel clear and fear-free. So what makes you feel the most high vibe and safe? Meditate for a few minutes. Connect. I am intentionally connecting with the light right now, or I'm intentionally connecting with my higher self, and all beings must be channeled through my higher self in order to come through me. um, what did my old spiritual teacher used to use? Lords of light or beings of light, like as an escort to different places and to different channelings. So find out what works for you and build yourself a little ritual pre-channeling so that you know, okay, I feel great. You know, I always talk about him. Jim Self has wonderful tools. There are a lot of free tools on his website. If you go to masteringalchemy.com, he can help you use the rose. He can help you build your own like geometry, get in the center of your head. Those are all really wonderful things to do because you just want to feel like you are engaged and you are full of yourself, full of your higher dimensional energy. And that way, absolutely nothing can penetrate that isn't a match to you.
and I don't think I'm muted. I'm not muted, am I?
Mm-mm.
And I think like yes to all of that. And I remember like in the beginning of feeling like my own psychic connection, like feeling a lot of the fear around that and feeling like the need for protection type stuff. And I don't feel any of that anymore. And I think part of it is because of trust. Now, just like, it's almost, obviously, I am not intentionally, I don't sit down with a client to like, I don't practice any sort of mediumship. So I'm not sitting down with a client to like connect with their, I was going to say dead brother. And then I realized, oh crap, I've actually done that with a client. Like I have totally done that with a client. So I take it back. But regardless, when I sit down, my intention is to be a clear channel for whatever it is that they need. So like, that's my ritual, is like, all right, like just set an intention, take a breath, relax, and intend to be a clear channel for whatever it is that they need. And so as I'm just recognizing, like one time it was their dead brother that, and I didn't know. And like, it was not it was not like what I thought the conversation was going to be about, but that is, because my intention was to be a clear channel for what they needed. That's what happened. And it was beautiful and good things came from it. So yeah. But so I guess what I'm saying is like, Rachel's giving you all these things, and it can be as simple as just setting a clear intention.
Yeah. And as far as trusting yourself, practice. What really helps me in channeling is that I feel the energy coming through. It's noticeably different than how I was feeling before I connected with that person. Even when I'm doing this with intuitive art, and you can channel other beings using intuitive art, and you will feel a slight shift. Now, again, it's probably a lot more subtle than you're used to, but if you can do the yes, no technique, you can do this with your channeling. And in fact, if you go to my psychic development course that's free on YouTube on this Rachel Archelaus channel, there is a module in there about channeling and how to differentiate each being that you're channeling, how they feel in your body, so that you can identify, okay, this is actually this person. It's like caller ID, right? We always want to know who's calling and before we pick up the phone, and that will really help you out. So go check that out, and go to my channel homepage and go to playlists, and it'll be right there. And you made Gina Maria laugh because she has a dead brother. Yeah. So practice, and try it with intuitive art, and see if you can feel the person coming through.
So I was actually in conversation with Jane right before this call, and she was saying how it was interesting that when, she does a lot of intuitive art for herself. And I think that I feel this way, like when I'm doing intuitive art for myself, my drawings tend to have, like, they look similar to each other. They have a lot, like, I very rarely do a drawing and I'm like, oh, I've never done that shape before. Or like, as I'm doing, like, I just make very familiar shapes, very familiar, like, kind of things that happen in my intuitive art. But when you do intuitive art for someone else, it's like so weird how like a new thing shows up. Like it looks different. And she was just saying like, oh, wow, I get it. I get the important, like, oh, I could get in my head thinking, am I making this up? Is it really working? But the minute she like sat down and connected with somebody else's energy, even just her higher self and their higher self, a whole different thing showed up. So it was super, super validating for Jane. Sorry, Jane, I'm spilling the dirt on you, but I know you don't mind.
Yeah. It is really wild. It is amazing how connected we all are. And that's really what channeling is exposing you to, how easy it is to connect and to step into different energies, but maintain your own, right? You're never losing yourself. So I said that this live stream was featuring Intimate Alien, and so far you've gotten the mix of me. So I will grab Intimate Alien, and I really love this look. Like, I want to wear this out today. I don't think I have anywhere to go, but maybe I'll go to the store. So I'll get Intimate Alien. If you have any questions for her, put them in the chat, and Carrie can read it out loud to me. And Yeah, Carrie, you too, if you have any questions, feel free to ask her. Oh, she's like, drink your water.
Water.
Well, we are here. We are excited. Thank you for inviting me here. We are so glad to be here. Oh, hello, Carrie. Hello. Hello, everyone. What do we talk about now?
Well, I feel like you've been here. You've
Yes.
been in the conversation of being channeling, or the conversation around channeling. But my first question is, what does it feel like to be channeled?
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Well, first of all, you know that we love to play with ourselves in this visual way because it is a novel thing for us. So to have this piece of flesh to put things on is so fun. It is very strange when Rachel's body does things, right? Like she needs to sneeze or eat something. It is very foreign. We do not know what to do with that. So it is wonderful and new and very strange at the same time.
So when Rachel is channeling you, do you feel like the fullness of you is able to come through?
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, at least you would say I am not all crammed in here, right? But it is like a solid line coming down. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to read you some comments that are coming through. I'm going to start. Looks like Liz has a lot of questions. So I'm going to start with Gina Maria's question. She says, I need business guidance. Oh, hold on. There's something on my screen where I can't see her whole thing. I think she says, I can't figure out my offerings. So, Intimate Alien, do you have guidance for Gina Maria?
Well, Rachel will too, because Rachel and Carrie have already spoken about having a free class about that. So, Gina Maria, they will get you there. But right now, we will just say to you, you have a very eclectic energy. You know a lot of things, a lot. So let your offerings reflect that. Offer an outcome where you get to choose what tools you bring. Show people that you are wise and studied and that you can easily access answers for them because of your investment in that toolkit. So yes, that is where we would show you to go.
And that must be right, Gina Maria, because I got a big yawn for that. So, okay, Intimate Alien. Liz has some questions. She says, what have you been up to? Projects, relationships, etc., and anything that you would love to share.
Well, thank you so much, Liz. We love you. And we are finishing a project with Rachel. She is making us an oracle deck, and that has been fun. And we've been doing more photo shoots for the book, and we have been making some art for people. Our relationships are all of you, and those have been going well. So we have been having fun on Instagram as well. That has been very fun. So really nothing totally new, though each moment is always new.
Oh, I'm going to be yawning through this whole one, I think.
We are glad.
Intimate Alien. I started this conversation with Rachel about you, saying, I was scared at first to talk with you, to ask you questions, at least like face to face, because, which is funny because I'm looking at Rachel's face, but because I felt like you could see my fear, my insecurity, my imposter syndrome, all of that. I'm curious, does that happen often? Do you see that, or do you see past it?
Well, the thing is, I mean, it is present, we feel it in Rachel too, and she has insecurities as well. But it is the smallest fraction of you that we give it no mind. We see it, but it does not paint a picture of you. Okay, you have big walls in your home, right? Expansive walls. What if there was a grain of sand in the paint in one spot? First of all, you would not notice it, right? But what kind of a percentage is that? It is infinitesimal. It's not worth looking at. You wouldn't even flick it off because it's so not noteworthy. That is our interpretation of your insecurities. It is just the tiniest fleck of dust, and it's not anything to look at. And so maybe they feel large in you because you're used to that. You're used to looking that direction. You're used to thinking that you need to be perfect in order to be worthy. But we know that's not true. We just see you as this big worthy being. And so, yes, we don't pay any attention to it.
You know what? That is, and Jane has a question for you, but that is reminding me when I met you early on, I remember asking you, like, well, how old are you? And the response was like, you're pretty young comparatively. Like, and that makes sense, like, in the way that children see us. So I appreciate that. The question is from Jane. She says, is there something I can do or think to feel more love toward those I'm having a hard time loving?
Yes, love yourself, because how you feel about yourself is how you will see the world. So whatever you are judging in others is what you are judging in yourself. Even if you try to argue me on that, it is true. So practice unconditional love, practice acceptance, practice loving yourself. Say it to yourself in meditation. Look for the feeling in your body, and you will absolutely lessen that judgment.
I can see Jane like nodding in from here. So Claudia says, I recently had a big connection experience. Like I was cracked open and flooded with light. It was amazing. Ooh, I can feel it as I'm reading it. How do I process and integrate what was experienced into my life moving forward?
Your body is doing that for you. So I would say relax. Just relax. That you are not going to feel that amazing all of the time. And that is okay. Why? Because you're acclimating to it. You're acclimating to it, which means it's going to feel less remarkable, but you're still feeling better than you did. So we would always advise for you to feel the best that you can in any moment. And so really your body is doing the acclimating, your body is doing the integration. Now you get to intentionally ask yourself, can I feel better right now? What do I really want to do? What would make me happy today? That is what you can do to increase your feelings of feeling amazing.
So this is a question from, I don't know that it's directly from me. So somebody wants this to be asked. How can I trust myself more?
Yes, how can you trust yourself more? Well, do you like yourself? Can you spend time with yourself? Do you enjoy yourself? Because why would you trust someone you don't like? So I would start there. Feel feel positively about yourself. Know that you're on your side, right? Make friends. Make friends. That's where trust comes from, right? You have my best interest at heart, and I know that. That's where relaxing and trust comes from.
Follow-up question to that. I don't know if I like myself. How do I love myself more? How do I like myself more?
Well, we are feeling this in Jane's reaction to, she is saying, okay, ouch, lol, but I got it. When, as you all know, we are never expressing any judgment on you. We are just showing you what you're wanting to know, right? Which is that if you are judging others, you are judging yourself. And there is nothing wrong with that. This is a very natural thing. So, how can you like yourself more? Except I am a human being right now, and it's really strange. It's really strange to be a human. It's really strange to not have a manual of how to be an energetic being on this planet. I am an energetic being on this planet, and no one ever told me. I didn't know that. I didn't know how to create my own experience growing up, right? You were shoved in many other directions than that. So give yourself a break. Give yourself a break. Realize that you are always doing your best, and that's enough. So take yourself off of this pedestal that you made and just be okay with who you are right now. And that will give you a good start to liking yourself more, right? Because then you release these shoulds and the judgments and all of that. I'm just doing the best that I can, and that's all I can do, and that's enough. My higher self loves me no matter what. I'm always being flooded with unconditional love, and I can choose to claim it now. I don't have to wait until I'm a better person.
Okay, intimate alien. This one is not a question, but I'm going to find the question in it. Liz says, yes, it's strange to be a human, working to enjoy being human. So as a non-human who really enjoys being channeled into humanness, what can Liz do to enjoy being human?
You know, this is something that you just sort of need to decide is okay. It's okay to be human. It's okay. That's why you're here. You chose it. There are unimaginable variety of ways to have fun being human, right? I mean, your bodies are a pleasure center, right? That is a way to enjoy being human. And then you go outside and there are just endless things to enjoy and appreciate. So if you want to have more fun, have more fun. Just have more fun. If you want to appreciate more, look around and appreciate more, or close your eyes and appreciate whatever is there, right? So maybe it's just about deciding, I'm just going to have a better time on this planet. That's just what I'm going to do. I'm going to embrace the fact that I am here and just enjoy myself. Take the judgment away from what you are enjoying, right? We love physical things. We love makeup. We love what you'd call superficial things, right? That is a beauty that you get to have and joy here. So whatever it is, whether or not it is societally approved of or not, if it makes you happy, then do it.
All right. I feel like our time is nearing an end, but I'm super curious about the idea that people have about channeling, right? So you are someone who gets to be channeled, but this worry, this fear about bad energies coming through or something bad happening, can you speak to that?
Yes. Well, just like you get what you match vibrationally, right? Your circumstances are a reflection of your vibrational set points. The same is true for the beings that show up for you. So if you want to channel high vibrational, clear, happy, fun beings, be a high vibrational, clear, happy, fun being. If you are constantly worried about getting robbed and mugged and bad things happening to you, if you are watching that on your television and putting your focus and attention there for hours a day, maybe don't channel. So it's really up to you. Ask yourself, what is my dominant vibration? Do I have a ton of fear? Or do I have fear because I've heard about bad things happening, but really I am so high vibe and clear most of the time that I know if I meditate a little bit beforehand, I'm fine. Or do things in a less, what you would call, we would not call it, a less, see, we don't even have the word, risky way. Do it with your intuitive art. Do it with automatic writing. Do it in a way that is 1 degree of separation from what you think is the scariest version of channeling, right? To dip your toe in, as you say.
I love that. Okay. Anything else? Closing words.
Oh, just that you are exceptional beings. You are exceptional beings. We want you to have an exceptional experience. So if you are not, there is room to grow. There's more room to feel the unconditional love that is pouring into you every moment of every day. Just sync up with that. You'll start to feel better.
That got me yawning again.
Okay. You got me yawning too. Thanks everybody for your questions for Intimate Alien. We should do this more. You all seem to really love her. I do too.
Yeah. Well, it is a reminder to join us. To join us in all the ways that you can join us. I will let Rachel talk about memberships, etc. But having access to Intimate Alien is pretty rad.
Yeah. Intimate Alien has private clients. She also sees she has an hour coaching group every month with people. So if you'd like to join us, go to intuitiveart.com/membership and join. You'll get unbelievable coaching from all 3 of us, tons and tons of support from the group and from lots of courses that you can use at your own desire. Round yourself out in business, psychic development, purpose, intuition, all kinds of things. And lots of yawns from today. So yeah, we love you all. I'm so glad that you all enjoy Intimate Alien and me and Carrie. And I think that's wonderful. And yes, Gina Maria, let us up our set points. Yes. Otherwise, you can support us if you want to join the channel. You can. You can see the little button below. And you can even give us a super thanks if you want. I think there's a little thanks button down there if you want to give us a couple bucks. Have some tea. So, yeah. I mean, we love you. You are remarkable beings. We hope you have a remarkable experience. And thank you so much for joining us. Carrie, do you have any ending words?
It's always the other way around.
I know.
Same. I will let you know my takeaways from today, and I hope that they are yours as well, which yours, Rachel, and yours, you guys watching. You can trust yourself. You can trust yourself. You can trust yourself. You can trust yourself. Like, overwhelming just confirmation for me that we're on the right path. And I think it was Gina Maria who said something about there are no accidents, right? Like we're on the right path, and what you want to be true is, and everything is working out, and you're on your way, and you can relax, and you're being guided all the time by your higher self and and your entire support team. And you can relax and you can trust yourself.
Beautiful. And believe in yourself, like Carrie's shirt says. So yay. Thank you, everybody. We love you. Thank you, Liz, for coming. We feel the same about you. And thanks, Guillaume and Gina Maria and Claudia and everyone else. We'll see you next week. Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend.